Tottenham played Liverpool. Phenomenal game, end to end, finished 2-2. So much to get to here, but we should start with the officiating. Yes, I thought Liverpool got the short end of the stick. Both those decisions in the first half. Harry Kane absolutely should have been sent off, which would have changed the whole tenor of that game. And then I did think that was a penalty when Jota was taken out in the box. I had no issue with the Robertson red, by the way, so that one was fine. But it was the two calls in the first half that went against Liverpool. So you knew Klopp would be upset. As soon as the final whistle blew, he walked over to the referee, Paul Tierney, and complained. But, the microphones caught specifically what he said. And I know you had a real issue with the way Klopp came at the referee.
Yeah, I mean, so for anybody that didn't see it or anything, he went as coaches, managers will do at the end of the game. You're raw, you're filled with emotion and passion, and at times anger for being what you feel is hard done, and you want to get it out, and you want to at least make sure that the object of your ire recognizes that you are angry. And so he went over and he said, I have no problem with referees, only you. And he's pointing and screaming. And he said, you never played football. Listen, I love Klopp. I think he's one of the greats. I would have loved to play for him. And I think players around the world pretty unanimously recognize his talent and would want to play for him. That being said, go and criticize the referee. Go and call him a scumbag and horrible, and you don't know what you're doing, and you have no place in this game, and that was a ridiculous call, and I hate you and your family, and burn in hell, and all that kind of stuff. All right? I would rather he had done that than what he did. Okay? As I said, I have no problem with him or any other coach being angry and criticizing referees after the game, either on the field or in the press after. Go to town, no problem. But what I don't like is I don't like people in general, but in this case, it's a coach and manager, but it applies to people in general, including myself and anybody others, using, quote, you haven't played to dismiss or to demean the opinion of others. I think it's weak. I think it's definitely condescending. I think it's hypocritical. I think it's cowardly. And I think it's a slippery slope when you start to do that. You can look at media members, and it's like telling a media member that their opinion on the game is wrong because they haven't played. It's like me telling you that you having an opinion on the game is wrong because you quote unquote haven't played. First off, you got to define what haven't played is, and what's Klopp's criteria for somebody's opinion and somebody's judgment that makes him or her worthwhile and valid. Do you have to have played internationally? Do you have to have played in the EPL? Do you have to have played here? Do you have to have played a certain number of years, a certain number of games, and all that kind of stuff? That's why I say it's a slippery slope. Teams out there are populated with people that, if we used Klopp's calculation and definition, quote, haven't played, but they have incredible value. And as I've said before, I have been around players that, quote, have played, and many at the highest level that have no clue what they're doing and have no clue what they're talking about. I have been around people that, quote, what for Klopp, haven't played, that are incredible at what they do, incredible at the things that they see, and incredible at the way that they look at the game. And so I just thought it was, for a guy that is so strong, even leading up to the game, the way that he dealt with the COVID situation and the way that he handled himself and the things that he said, it had so much weight and meat and class in the way that it happened. I just thought for him, it was weak. And I don't want to see that. And look, he's emotional. And in that moment, if he thinks about it, he might've gone back and said, I should have done that. And anyway, I think it triggered and it hit a nerve in me that, because I've talked about this before. It drives me nuts when we do that, because then what happens? The conversation is over. If that's what you throw out, there's no comeback from that. There's no conversation able to be had. You stated that you don't respect or listen or acknowledge anybody that it hasn't, quote, played. And fine, we're done. We're done here. And a referee who has worked his or her ass off to get where they are and has probably watched more soccer than many coaches and managers out there. I just don't think that they deserve it. Now, if Klopp believes that every referee has to have played, quote unquote, and played, first off, again, you got to define what do they have to have done in order to, in your mind, be valid in terms of the decisions that they are making. Anyway, that's the way that I felt. I still love Klopp, and I still think he's a great coach, but I just think he didn't have to do it in this moment.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.